All right, guys, we are going to get started with the RGH podcast right now.
Pretty
It
dope.
is time. It is dope. Yes, it is dope. We're gonna get started with the RGH podcast right now. For some reason, the graphic broke. No, it was not me. It just stopped working. Just shut off. But it's the RGH podcast. So what would be a podcast without some tech issues? I'm
I'm like
Mtashed.
waiting
I
to
don't
see
see
what
anything.
that looks like. Yeah, let's see.
I'm Mtashed. We've got Kackis. We've got True Vanguard here. And we're the RGH podcast. We do this every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we talk about all things gaming. News, drama, potentially some new flavors for Advanced GG that... but we'll get into that later.
Right.
We'll get into that later. Today, we're going to jump in with the Destiny stuff because they're essentially overhauling Destiny. They said, yeah, this isn't working. It's time to stop. And they even have me potentially thinking, maybe I'll play again. Maybe I'll have a little...
Really?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Nah, you're just saying that so you can make bank off another I Quit video in a few months.
Come on, man. Don't expose me like that. So, who wants to go through all the changes? Does someone have the TWAB up?
Oh, God. It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. It really is.
Seriously, was a huge list. Our listeners will be happy. Our listeners will be happy that we won't be pissing and moaning about stasis.
Can I just say
because they
that this
finally
whole
addressed
time
it.
I've been looking like an idiot because I went to click the link on the video and it opened in Twitter, and so I've been hearing two different versions of the live stream going through my ears, and you guys are like, yeah, stasis is on. I'm just and I'm sitting here, I'm like, what did I do wrong? I closed the YouTube, but I was still hearing it, so that's why I've been sitting here looking like an idiot.
That ain't on us.
No, that's not me. Hey, Bungie comes out here and is like, we give up. You guys are right. We're fixing the game, baby.
Well,
oh my goodness.
You're sunsetting, y'all.
We're sunsetting. We're sunsetting, baby. And crazy. But I mean, I did a little bit of a video on that called the sunsetting conspiracy, and talked about, it's interesting because everyone is saying sunsetting is gone, right? Even that my first inclination, you hear this news and you're like, oh, sunsetting is gone. But there's an awful lot of sunset weapons in the game for sunsetting to be gone. And the interesting part is that Bungie kind of reversed the decision. Everyone's applauding this, which is good. And I do believe that they were planned on doing sunsetting normally and then realized it's not going to work. But they didn't unsunset anything.
Right.
And the end result is that sunsetting accomplished what Bungie wanted it to accomplish. Look at the weapons that are still sunset. Mountaintop, Recluse, all the pinnacles, sunset, right? Stuff from Season of the Forge, right? Blast Furnace, sunset. Beloved, sunset. Everything up to a lot of the most powerful, most problematic things all happen to get still sunset. So the community is super happy. And Bungie also won at the same time because they kind of accomplished what they sought out to accomplish by sunsetting all those super problematic things.
Yeah.
And I want to get your take. In the video, I kind of speculate, is the reason they introduced things like the Mountaintop, like the Recluse, that's so blatantly overpowered compared to other legendaries? Because they were working with Activision at the time, and they thought they were going to make a Destiny 3.
Sure.
And they wouldn't have to worry about all these crazy guns, and then suddenly they realize, now we don't have the resources, Activision's gone, what do we do with all these crazy broken guns?
Right.
So, but yet what they did is we're basically playing Destiny 3 right now, because they rotated everything up to Season of the Worthy. Season of the Worthy forward is Destiny 3 basically.
Right. And they dropped, it's not just guns that got dropped. It's content, it's campaign lines, it's raids, it's strikes, it's planets, destinations. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I mean, if their version of Destiny 3 is Season of the Worthy, then yikes, bro. Yikes. That's pretty grim. Now, they are making a bunch of changes, right? We can kind of go over the list and talk about the main ones, but a lot of the changes that are happening are fixes that on stuff that they already did. It's like, all right, we're turning off sunsetting. Stasis was way too overpowered. We're going to nerf it. How many times has Bungie done this? How many times has Bungie said they're going to do this? I'm sitting there in my rocking chair we'll see. We'll see. And if they're putting it in there, if they're listing these changes, I'm taking those as like preemptive patch notes. So if they don't get done, I'm going to be like, where was this change? Where was that change? And it is a very big list. So alongside, making new content, they're making all these changes. It really is going to be an overhaul. Like it is.
Yeah.
They touch pretty much everything other than the Crucible, in my opinion.
Well,
they touch everything with the Crucible.
Well,
that's the thing.
Oh, I was gonna say they mentioned the Crucible a bit and said what they said a year ago. We can have a renewed focus for the Crucible.
Yeah, where?
So here's the thing. Ever since that post was made, I've got people coming to my chat. Yo, TV, did you see what Bungie's doing? Are you excited? That's what they keep asking. Are you excited for the future? And it's like, I got to be honest. Like, it's hard for me to get excited about a whole list of things that are just fixing busted stuff. Like, I wish that these things would have been taken care of a long time ago. Third person peeking, they're finally saying, look, we are fixing it. It's like, great. Would have been cool if you did that a year ago.
Yeah.
When it was really coming to a head and we were like, listen, we've been putting up with this and now we got Trials is back and it's slowing the game. It's horrible. Got to get rid. And again, with Stasis, it's like, I wish I could be excited about new stuff rather than getting excited about them fixing something that they shipped that was busted. I would have preferred if they shipped a well-balanced product first. So it's hard for me to get overly excited about the future of stuff in PvP because that list included nothing new. It was only giving fan service to our biggest complaints.
Yeah,
and yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I think while you're right, we also have said on this podcast multiple times that Bungie has to take the L, right? We've talked about that. Bungie has to say, we messed up, we were wrong, especially with something like Stasis. Like, obviously, you can blame them in the sense that they clearly did not test this enough, or they didn't listen to the testers. I think that is a possibility. Like, people like to blame QA, but QA could have been like, this is broken, and the developers who came up with it got their egos hurt, and we're like, no, it's fine, it'll be fine, right? I'm just saying that could be a possibility. I don't know what really happened. Clearly something went wrong in shipping Stasis the way it shipped.
Right.
Like, it's already received a few nerfs, and it's still crazy, right? So, but like I said, they did what we said they needed to do, which was take the L, say, we messed up, Stasis was broken, the sunsetting was a bad idea, we're listening to the community, we're going to fix it. And so that, it just has to be applauded, because they could have easily doubled down and said, no, we know what's best for the game. So thank goodness they're able to back off. And yes, it's kind of like, you're being applauded for fixing what you broke, so you shouldn't be applauded like that much. But it's also, again, you can't necessarily fault them too much, because again, it could have gotten so much worse. So thank goodness they're kind of steering the ship in the right direction now.
I would call it not excitement, it's relief. People ask me, are you excited about it? No, I'm not excited about those things. I'm relieved to hear that they're finally addressing those things. I'll be excited when I get some new PvP maps and maybe some new game modes, more reasons to play PvP.
Here's the thing is, how many times have they made something and then gone back on it? Change the weapon system, bring it back, changing this, changing that. And it's like, can you imagine where the game would be if they just progressed? It feels like they take a couple steps forward and they're like, okay, actually half of this is broken or bad. Let's redo that. And I feel like that impacts what new content we get. We're not getting strikes, we're not getting PvP maps, because they're just fixing all this stuff they broke. And it's like, come on, man.
That's, fair dang point. But also, there is some risk to innovation, right? And so we have seen some cool stuff. Armor 2.0 is better than Armor 1.0, is better than anything in Destiny 1, in my opinion, as well. Armor 2.0 is a great system. A lot of customization. The mod system, like Destiny 1 had none of that. Warmind cells are cool. The new Elemental Well thing is not bad. Charge with Light is obviously really cool. So being able to craft those builds, that's genuine innovation, right? That is like, they do some good stuff, right? They just it's like mixed in with the bad stuff. And unfortunately, the bad stuff kind of comes to prominence.
Aren't the Charge with Light builds going away?
No, not anymore.
Oh, so they are saying. I just wasn't sure if those got cut off.
So yeah, like the armor that can use them, as far as we know, is usable going forward. In fact, the next big armor thing to get sunset was the Warmind cell stuff, but now the weapons are staying, and presumably the armor. Now Bungie actually admitted this and said, like, we're gonna have to like probably nerf Warmind cells because they're so cracked. We were kind of banking on them going away with sunsetting. So, you know, expect global reach to be less insane, but I mean, it is sticking around.
Okay, so now let's talk about some of the positives here. Is I saw a lot of my main concerns, like things that I complain about every time, going away, or at least being addressed. They talked about, you know, the power grind. They didn't say that they have an alternative, and they didn't say that they're, you know, removing it, but instead of being, you know, 100 levels,
30 light,
right, of just like random, like it's literally just picking up blue gear and infusing stuff, like it's a meaningless number. Essentially what happens now is if you get to the pinnacle level this season before, you're at the essentially like the hot or the
pinnacle grind.
The pinnacle grind.
You still have 10 more levels to go, but they're all pinnacle levels.
Right. So if there was a raid or like a hard activity, you'd be like right there at the start of the next season. So I love that because if you're putting in time
right
now,
into the new content.
But if you're putting in content or if you're putting in the time now, it doesn't go away into the next season. And that's the thing that pisses me off. I grind up to the cap and then they're like, oh, by the way, you're all weak again. And it's like, well, what's the difference between me getting max
levels,
pinnacle level and then this guy who quit halfway through the season? We're at the same spot. Why did I?
He's getting the same blue level drops as you are.
Right, exactly. So that is
minus
a nice
10 levels,
change.
which is like nothing to make up, right?
Yeah. And so that is like one of the main things. I'm like, hell yeah. Stasis, changing some of those things, nerfing some of those things. I mean, obviously we need to play with it in the sandbox, but that was something that was, I mean, it's ruined the game for me. And so if those are being brought into line with the other subclasses, you know, as long as they're not oppressive anymore, I'm fine dying to stasis. It's just, I don't want to die to stasis, and that's the only choice and the only option for competitive type play. And it seems like they're bringing a lot of the freeze timers down, which is another thing because it's so unsatisfying to get frozen and die. Even to just get frozen, like losing your momentum and losing your ability to react feels terrible. You're like a sitting duck. And so any changes to stasis are really good. The sunsetting thing, even the armor.
One thing real quick. Terrence Allen's like, for someone who doesn't play D2, Mtashed has a lot to say. He played for 7 years, you idiot. He quit recently, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing is like people are like, what do you know about the game? And it's like, I still constantly research it. I still watch all my friends. I've played more than any of you players have played. I know the game better than any of you do, just because I take a
read the same update. Read the same update you did.
It is funny.
Got the same information.
Like, I can't beat a grandmaster, but you haven't played in the last couple months, so I know more than you. So, all right, bud. No, it's just like, but it's once you've played Destiny, you've played Destiny. We really haven't gotten that much innovation in the past little bit, other than the introduction of stasis, which was the huge thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but we were talking before the show, Tash, and you know, you haven't played Destiny 2 in a while, speaking of, but are now, especially I was saying, now that sunsetting is gone, are you more willing to come back? Like now, or are you like, well, I'm just saying, like, if you get kind of an itch, you come back, you play a few battlegrounds, maybe you get some of the cool new weapons, and if you get a good one, it doesn't go away, right? Whereas like if you're not sure if you're going to commit to returning to Destiny, if you would have got those weapons and then spent 2 more months watching questionable Genshin art posted on the subreddit, then you would have come back and your weapon is like 1 season away from being useless. Right. So like I feel like taking away sunsetting is like those people that kind of come and they play for a bit and then they leave again, they're going to be a lot more accepting to come and play now.
That's right. Yeah, 100%. Can you imagine grinding for a season and then like you take a little bit of a break, maybe some new, finally we get some PS5 games and Xbox games. You come back, all that is useless. Like, bro, I'm not playing a looter shooter for all my gear to go away. If you want my honest thoughts, my honest answer, I don't think I would return full time. I mean, next season, I want to do the raid. Like, I am gonna level up, and I want to do the raid with like the primal guys. Will I play much beyond that? I don't know. Into the next season, I don't know if I'll play that much. But we're looking at like kind of 2 full seasons, 3 seasons for everything to be implemented, right?
Right.
Which is,
I
mean, we're looking at half a year, 9 months to finally get this stuff, because we're just in this season, and then 14 and 15.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, well, and especially since the Witch Queen, which, all of those big expansions came out in the fall, and now Witch Queen's been delayed. They kind of buried the lead, right? Witch Queen is coming out the beginning, so like the front, like Q1 2022, so like January, February, maybe March. So Season 15, they're talking about Season 15. We're going to fix 3 peaking. Season 15 won't come out until fall. I think August 24th is when the next season apparently ends, according to the API. Obviously, Bungie might change that. But you're looking at like the fall before some of these things are enacted, right? So it's even a longer schedule than usual because they've delayed the Witch Queen.
And so when those are all in, again, I mean, we didn't even talk about that. Third person peeking. That ruins Trials of Osiris for me. I don't want to do carries. I don't even want to play it. I hate it. The emoting third-person peeking. That is a major gripe of mine being addressed. And so I'm starting to look at these things. The power, the sunsetting, the third-person peeking, the balance of stasis. We're getting not just like a few changes in my favor. We're getting
ticking off a lot of our boxes.
A lot of my survey's getting filled, let's just say. And so I like the idea of coming back, and I would like to come back, and I'd love if the community would have me back. But honestly, as soon as I'm like, hey, maybe I'll play Destiny, they're like, no, you left, stay gone. Like, I'm telling you, there are some Destiny stands, and
we'll talk a little bit about the Destiny stands in one of our other topics for sure.
I feel like even by then though, even my burnout would be gone. Like I just am perpetually burnt out on the game because it's been 7 years of pretty much the same thing. So if we're looking at fall is the next time I really dive in, there's a really good chance that I'll play it and I'll have a lot of fun with it. And, we'll have to see where it's at. Genshin is doing good, but we're going to talk about that later. There's some really good stuff and some terrible stuff. And
Outriders,
exactly. We're going to talk about Outriders because, that was kind of surprising. So,
I don't want to speak for YouTube, but I think it's one of those things where we sound a little jaded because, again, it's like they are fixing a lot of the problems that they caused. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the fact that they are doing all this stuff is fantastic news. And like, thank God they did. Like we said, someone's gonna have to take the L. Someone's gonna have to check their egos and say we were wrong, and we're rolling some stuff back. And that seems that that is exactly what we're doing. And thank goodness they're doing that, right? Like,
very relieved that they're doing that. Absolutely.
Could have easily doubled down on their decisions. Could have easily done that. And we've seen devs do that before all the time. In fact, that's what you most commonly see. So the fact that they are able to roll this back relatively quickly too. I mean, sunsetting was only introduced with Season of Arrivals. And so it's, 2 full seasons later, we're in the 3rd season and it's already gone. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that it happened at all, but pretty quick, to test it out and say, yeah, we screwed up. So that is good. But we get some good news there. And then the bad news is that Trials of Osiris was shut down this weekend for a really weird reason. Trials has been canceled so much in the past few times. Like we've had it canceled because
getting out of matches.
Yeah, the first few times it was like, oh, there's like a variety of reasons. It like wasn't ready or something. There was a glitch. There's some invincibility glitches and stuff like that, or infinite super glitches. So it got delayed with like multiple weeks, like 3 weeks or something crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
And then there are people getting out of the maps and a bunch of different PvP maps. So they had to, I think, either delay or skip switching maps and stuff. It's been a wild ride. And then most recently, there's this kind of grand conspiracy, not really conspiracy. Essentially, there's an organization of people win trading. They would see each other with this. They would all wear the same emblem, I guess, this Haka emblem. And if they saw 2 people wearing or 2 teams wearing this Haka emblem, they'd know, oh, these are other win traders. And they would just kind of decide who wins and who loses that game.
Yeah, it's called the casino system. So this isn't a new idea. They weren't innovative in that sense. There's been other titles where they've done casino style when trading before. But essentially what it is, you see that the other team is also on board. And what you do is Bungie actually decided they were going to try and help players out. They're like, okay, we're going to make it so that you can rejoin a trials match if you disconnect from it. So they were trying to help the community out with that one. And the community was like, how can we abuse this? So what they do is they go in and they say, I've got 3 wins on my card. I'm looking to get win number 4. I see that the other team is also doing the win trading thing. So we message each other. We use a random number generator to pick a number, basically to flip a coin. If I win the coin toss, cool. I'm going to let them take turns quitting out of the match and rejoining on a different burner card on a different character. And then once they've all done that, we'll do the win trade. They'll forfeit the match. We'll win the match. We'll get a win on our card. If I lose the coin toss, cool. We don't get the win this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to back out. I'm going to join again with a different character on a burner card and take the loss on that card. So my 3-win card stays intact. I get to take that into my next match. I'll switch back. So it's elaborate. It takes a lot of time, but it's if you get everybody, because what people are doing is it's a certain region. If you're going to do this, make sure you've got your whoever's your host is using a
VPN.
A VPN.
And they would VPN to a certain.
Yeah. So you're matching people in that region. Kind of
seems random matching, but no. So you just match to a certain island somewhere that no one else is, and then everyone just matches. So you only see the Haka emblems.
It started out, on the eastern side of the globe, but also there was a similar system being used in South America. So anyways, if you wanted to get your guaranteed trials loot, you could make it happen.
Hey, honestly, Kackis, maybe you could try that and you can get a win for once. And then Ryan doesn't have to carry you. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, I'd still probably lose, man. I'd flip the coin wrong or something. So, but I want to ask you, because I've seen this whole thing go down, and I saw a lot of people say, "What's the big issue? If I'm win trading, I'm with another team, and my team, and we're not hurting anybody. So what is the issue here? I just want."
Well, the prestige, I suppose. Like, people want to feel like the gear they're getting, they earned it. And if I have to deal with a bunch,
I'm just like, this is something I've seen a lot.
If I have to deal with a bunch of cheaters and recovs to get my loot, it's like, well, you should have to kind of as well. But at the same time, the ecosystem of trials is so terrible that it's like, I don't blame anyone. Half the games are people. This is, if you're seeing on screen here, this is trials. All right, looking around corners, right? People are looking around corners in third-person mode half the time. It is slow. They're waiting for the Geomag stabilizers to Kamehameha.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I play Geomag. Whenever I'm a Warlock, I throw that baby on, and every time I yeet a Revenant Hunter, I don't care at all, man.
There is not a lot of incentive to play trials other than the loot, but it is such a frustrating thing that a lot of people aren't even getting the loot. Like, they can't win.
Trials is so bad that players across the globe are doing everything in their power to not play trials and just get the loot.
So do you think they should have canceled it then? Or do you think that they should have just been like, screw it?
No, I think that was the right call to cancel it.
But why then? If you're saying like, I'm just why cancel it if it's not hurting anybody?
Here's what it is. What it is it is a giant red flag to Bungie that says, listen, it is so bad, guys. No, but seriously, you really got to take this seriously. That's the purpose that it serves to me. I think I'm not mad that it happened, because if anything, it just puts more pressure on Bungie to say, oh my gosh, like it's that bad. We really got to change something. So I'm not mad in that capacity. But yes, I think obviously if I was the developer, I would have made the same call. Our whole goal here is to make a prestigious activity. We tried to, we already have a large community of people who they know trials is bad, but they put in the time and the grind and they suffered all that stuff to get. I mean, you do want to kind of protect the integrity of the loot in that sense. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying that because I don't want casuals to get the loot. I do want casuals to be able to get the loot, but we got to fix the game mode and make it more approachable for them to actually play the game to get the loot.
The whole point of Flawless Trials loot is the fact that it is prestigious, and if you see someone with it, you know they're legit, etc. But here's something I found interesting is I've seen people say that on Twitter, being like, you can't have people win trading because it ruins the integrity of the loot system, because you shouldn't be able to get these rewards easier than normal. You should have to play the game properly. And then those same people go into a 12-man raid. Like what? So
Fair.
I want to make it clear. I want to make it clear that if you're 12-man rating, I don't really care. Like it seems super fun, right? But it is funny that isn't that the same exact thing? Because you could be carrying 3-4 people who've never done that raid before, and aren't you ruining the integrity of the loot of the raid run for those guys? They don't deserve that loot. Right. You're literally doing double damage because you have double the teammates. Now, again, it is way easier to get raid loot than to go flawless by a massive magnitude. However, it is kind of funny just the difference, and it is legitimately the same exact thing. You are ruining the integrity of the activity, but one thing, which is 12-man raids, is just a bunch more fun, so just people don't care. And I think there's just so much toxicity around trials, and just it's just kind of a funny thing that you see, like the duality of like the PvE activity and the PvP activity, right?
But is there even any like sacred loot now in trials? Half the games are recovs. Half the games are carries. And it's like even with like, you know, Grenadier Jake does carries all weekend, every weekend and stuff. And you know, like the people that are getting carried, like, do they like deserve to get the loot? Like, depending on how you look at it, they won the raffle, but like, I don't know, it's a weird thing. With carries, it's usually like someone like Jake who's sweating it out trying to win, right? And it's like, it's a show of skill. And so, do you deserve to get there? Hell yeah, he put you on his back. He, you know, maybe he picked up the slack and earned it for you. But with a lot of the other ones, like the recoveries, it is 3 absolutely insane people, like god tier players on other players' accounts going there, and they're just smashing it out. And
yeah, it's
you know, those players, like,
can I just say really quickly? Can I say really quickly? True Vanguard's point about that is so true, and people always forget that. It's like recubs aren't just adding sweaty players. When you have a recub, it's -1 normal player +1 super sweaty player. So it's not, it's like doubling the numbers. It's like twice as bad as people think. It's just making the playlist. It's taking people out and putting insane people in. Like, it's just like constantly doing that.
So this is the thing: recoveries snowball the sweatiness of trials. Because they affect it in a number of different ways. One way they affect it, obviously, well, like we just said, it's a direct substitution. Casual team for a sweaty team. So there, in and of itself, it inflates the amount of sweatiness, quote unquote, in the place. Now, on top of that, these people are getting paid. So what are they going to do? They're going to accept how many recovery gigs? As many as they can fit in the weekend, because they're making money off of it. So you have a team that would be a stack team, because people always like to say this. You would have fought them anyways on their mains. No, you wouldn't have. Maybe on Friday you would have. But no triple stack sweaty team is going to be spending 40 hours a weekend in Trials of Osiris on their main accounts. They're not going to do it, period. No one's going to do that, okay? But since they're making money off of it, they're going to stay in that playlist hour after hour after hour, card after card after card after card. So it snowballs. And now what that does also is when a casual team comes into Trials and they get stomped by 2 recovery teams, lose their mercy, get a dock on their card, they realize this is not for me, and so they leave, therefore swinging the pendulum even further in the sweaty department. And then those people who decided it's not for them, they go and they buy a recovery. So
yeah, it is. It's like a churning thing, right? And like, even with the amount of people that were doing carries back in the first game, there was still a liable player. Some of the carries I did, the people that I was trying to carry were such a liability that, like, if you were an average team, you could probably win. And it's like, if I came out with the 1-on-3 here and there, you know, it was a big moment. But if you were a decent, competent team, you could probably go flawless. In Destiny 2, if you're a decent team, you are not going flawless. You have to be the best. Because if you aren't fighting me, ZK, and Frostbolt, you're fighting who knows what other recovered players on some random account. Or you're playing a cheater. And so it's like, like the majority of people that are in there, they're not making it very
bad, dude. I play with you guys sometimes, or I play with TV or whoever. I feel like a liability, and it's like I'm trying.
You're good.
I'm not that bad, dude. But I feel like if you're not going in there absolute sweat 3 stacked, you're up against it, and so it's like, holy crap, like Bungie, this is so bad. This is like the pinnacle PvP activity has never been worse. And it sucks. Like, it's such a big part of it. Like, if you're a PvP player, what Bungie is directing you towards is trials. Like, that is the top of the pyramid, right? And when that's bad, it's horrible. I mean, as a PvE player, thank God the Deepstone. I do enjoy the Deepstone Crypt, and the raid is the rewards are fantastic, and the whole like spoils of conquest thing, great system. And so we have a great structure to the pyramid in PvE right now. It kind of directs you towards the raid, and the raid is fun and rewarding and all that stuff. So that the PvP pyramid is so rotten. It's not even a pyramid. It's the most fucked up shape I've ever seen, and it's like, it just needs attention so bad.
This is worth, I think, addressing too. Chris in chat said recoveries are small time. If you fix cheating, 90% of the recoveries will go away. I understand that statement, but I think that is very false, and I think it ignores data and statistics. Cheaters are really only a thing on PC. Okay, console players will like to tell you, "Oh, that guy was cheating." He wasn't. All right, cheating is not an issue on.
Dude, unless they kill me, then they're cheating for sure.
Cheating's not an issue on console. The console community is much, much larger. There are a lot more people playing Trials of Osiris on console than there are on PC. If you fix anti-cheat, or if you implement an anti-cheat that is effective, you're gonna get cheaters out of the game, and that's really annoying. Okay, sometimes you're gonna match one cheating team in a card. That's aggravating. On console, it is not uncommon for me to match 3 recovery teams in a card. Okay, a casual player is going to have a lot harder time going flawless going against 3 recovery teams in a card than they are against 1 cheating team in a card. And it's not a number I'm making up. When we play trials, we pull up people's information. We look at the stats on their characters, and it's a telltale thing. When you've got 3 guys on a team that are 0.7 KD guys in Crucible, but just for this trials passage, they're playing 3.5 KDs and they're fragging out of their minds. It's a telltale sign. And we know player skill when we see it.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's in everything. It's in the movement. It's in the shot. And, stats don't lie. A lot of people who play Destiny are, like, addicted to this game. So they're going to have hundreds of games with their stats. So if all of a sudden they're, like, a 2.0 player, it's like, where did that come from, brother? That's a very convenient time. But, it is what it is. The thing is with trials, they just got to start getting more, people just enjoying the game and playing.
They need to get the population up.
Yeah, maybe some bounties that it's like, use your super 7 times in trials, get X amount of kills. Just like things like that.
That's the
bottom line.
Key thing. More players. This is not gonna be a good thing to say, but I gotta say it. There's not as many cheaters as I think people are making it seem. There's a lot. There's too many. 1 is too many. But the reason is because you literally keep matching them. Like, people will match the same guy, like all the time. This is the same guy that was cheating earlier, right? You match those same guys because the population is so low, right? So the cheater problem is exasperated times a million because you're constantly running into them because there's 12 people playing trials because it's such a garbage tier playlist, right? So, and the same exact thing, right, happens with the recovery problem. You're running into them all the bloody time because the population is so low. So the main thing to fix most of these things is to get the population up. But I have no idea how the heck you're going to get the population up when it's this bad.
And their faith in the playlist and their like repeated attempts getting squashed. No one has faith that they can even go in trials and win. Even if they make those bounties, they're like, can we even get those done? So this is a large problem. I hope they fix it. But let's move on to some of the other topics. Let's talk about Outriders, because how many times have we talked about Outriders? And with Outriders, right? We made some videos on it. Every comment is like, is this going to kill Destiny? Is this going to kill the Division? Is this the new game? Is this Anthem 2.0? People watch the videos on Anthem and they're like, this sucks. And Kax and I, how many times have we said, we're like, it's fun. Like, it is really fun. It's enjoyable. It's got some cool stuff. And everyone's like, nope, it's Anthem. It's not going to be good. And I feel like this weekend I saw a lot of positivity. I don't know about you guys and your feed.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was way more positivity than I even expected. I think it caught people off guard. I know it caught you guys off guard. I know Ryan's still grinding every day.
I'm still grinding. I grind every day. I'm doing my captain farm. I got all 4 characters leveled up to max, and I'm just doing my legendary farm. But yeah, it's the thing. The gameplay is so refreshing to me, and a lot of people were echoing this. You know, if you're on the forums and you're looking at the feedback in real time, a lot of players are really praising the healing mechanic in the game is such a core part of what makes it unique.
Mm-hmm. I think we talk about that, gentlemen. If you're playing Outriders and you're spending a lot of time, you're now stretched between 2 different games. You're gonna need some kind of energy, some kind of focus to be able to play these 2 games at the same time, baby. Listen, we're more than halfway through. We got to do this. Dash, you want to kick us out? Or I'll do it. Listen, if you want that energy, you want that focus, boy, you got to try out Advanced GG Focus. Oh, what the heck is that?
What is that?
Kackis Kiwi Lime, the brand new flavor, launched today, baby. Brand new, out today. It is smooth, crisp, refreshing. It's like a tropical vacation in your mouth. Rumor on the street. I've been hearing this for several people saying, there's a quote, direct quote. They said, after trying this, I can never buy Mtashed Mango Splash again. I kid. Actually, I've heard that if you mix them together, that it's in fact, it's like they're doing research on like just how fire it is. They're thinking they actually said to me, they said, don't say this because we're never going to sell another flavor. Once people figure out they get some mango and the kiwi lime together.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the earlier reports on what it does to your libido?
No. Through the roof.
I have never had more. Can I say that without getting monetized?
Oh my gosh. But seriously, Advanced GG sponsored us before we were even a thing, so they are absolutely OG guys. Definitely check it out, and cop the new flavor if you want. My flavor, Mtashed flavor. There's a bunch of your favorite content creator flavors, and then use code RGH, and it supports all of us.
Yeah,
so
we might actually get paid. Kackis is the only one who gets paid. We're hoping that maybe we get paid one day. But yeah.
It just goes to my account. I lost it. Weird. It's just weird, dude.
All right. So Outriders surprises players. It was interesting. Let's finish what Ryan was saying.
Yeah, you were saying. Yeah,
there's a lot to unpack in a sense. So I'm sure we'll take several minutes doing it. But one of the things that a lot of players are really receptive to is the core healing mechanic in the game. Is really what defines the gameplay, in my opinion. You heal in combat. It's not like a lot of third person. A lot of people are like, I don't like third person shooters because of the pace of the game is a little bit different, especially think of something like The Division. A lot of times you're backing off and you're replenishing your armor and healing up, and then you're coming back into the fight. You do slow peek shots. You're in a single arena for a long time as you're slowly waiting for enemies to peek and you pump them. You know what I'm saying? But with Outriders, it's a lot different pace. The cover is really there for the NPCs and for the combatants. It's not there for you. So you're like a tank. Your goal is to run out there and you're healing while you do damage. And so every character has their own unique healing mechanic, but it's basically that you do damage, you get health. Mm-hmm. So if you want to heal, it's not run to the back and sit down behind cover. It's you got to go there. You got to kill something, man. And so it keeps the gameplay really, really dynamic. And so that's one of the things that makes farming runs a lot of fun. Is it's just constant action when you're farming. Yep. You reset your checkpoint. You blaze through a bunch of guys, and the abilities have been really fun. One of the things that blew me away was just how much build potential there is in the demo alone.
At level 7. Yeah.
The blue gear has got some crazy unique perks on them and abilities.
How the perks affect the armor perks affect your skills, and to the point where they're basically Destiny exotics. Like I had one piece of blue armor. For the Trickster, it has like this like sword slash attack, really powerful, and it gave me 2 charges, so I could do it twice before it needed to refresh. Dude, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. hunter gauntlets that give you 2 skip grenades, the Shinobu's Vow.
Yeah.
There you go.
It basically is a Shinobu's Vow in a blue gear, and I can have as much of this gear as I want. Like, the abilities are so cracked out, and I think it's one of those things where a huge reason is because it's PvE only. A bunch of Destiny people were like, oh no, man, it doesn't have PvP. And then they go complain about Trials for 8 hours on Twitter. Like,
you're not playing Trials.
PvP.
Yeah,
you're
like,
not playing Trials,
that.
bro. You're win trading on Trials. You're not playing PvP anyways. might as well go and play Outriders. Like, it's PvE, so they're not worried about like balancing everything to the 9th degree. So when you get stuff that's powerful, it feels actually powerful.
Here's the thing, and that's blue gear. We're gonna get purple gear with 2 perks on it. We're gonna get gold gear with 2 perks on it. And it's going to have a passive if you have the set piece or the set bonus. Like there's some where it's like a Devastator does this and Pyro, they burn for 2 times longer, stuff like that. So it's like the builds are going to get nuts. And, you know, when you look at the game and you see the first gameplay footage, it's like, it's third person, it's a shooter game. Is it going to be The Division? Is it going to be Gears of War, right? And then you play it and you realize with those healing things and when you start getting multiple abilities, it's kind of like Diablo. Honestly, it's like a Diablo shooter. I got to the point with my Pyromancer where I had 3 casts of my one ability, and then I had another one that would essentially pop enemies that were ignited. And so I'd run in, I go, set them on fire, pop them. Set them on fire, pop them. And I'm like, bro, I don't even need to use my guns. By the time I do all these abilities, and it was really, really interesting to see that. And I have to say, one of the things that I love is if you look at Destiny and you look at a Titan and you look at a Warlock and you look at a Hunter, there's definitely some different supers. But a lot of the grenades are the same. A lot of the melees feel the same. A lot of the supers even feel the same, right? Like, is a Dawn Blade throwing the flaming blades that different from throwing a bunch of flaming hammers? Not that much. But in this game, like the Pyromancer was very different from the Trickster, which was very different from the Devastator, which is very different from the turrets. It felt completely different running in as the Trickster slicing and dicing as I was with my Pyromancer.
Freezing time. That time bubble is the best. Like, that is the best skill added to a looter shooter, added to any game in the past decade. It is so fun.
Visually, like, so cool
slowing
too.
Time, getting the auto shotgun, you're like, let's go, baby. And you just go to town on someone's head as they're like slowly moving through the air.
I gotta tell you, with Trickster, man, Trickster was the last character I made, and is now the only character I want to farm the captain on. So because I got like a blue armor perk that makes it so that when I do my teleport behind a combatant, it puts like a weaken effect on them. I'll teleport behind the captain. I'll drop the bubble on him. And I'll do the slash and then auto shot.
Oh no, you're doing it wrong.
Do the auto and they burn before the bubble's gone. I mean,
that is cracked. Yes, that's cracked. But here's the real strat. You have the bubble, and then you get a bunch of armor. There's an armor that adds a weaken effect to the bubble. So you cast the bubble, anything inside is weakened, and then you have the rounds, the
twisted rounds.
Twisted rounds. Oh my gosh. Like, that guy is dead in like half a second. I'm not even halfway through my auto shotgun mag. He's dead.
I found a weapon.
So, but
what
can I say? What we're explaining, really? Sorry, the Kack is interrupting emote is coming soon. What we're explaining for people who are like, "What the hell are you talking about, Captain?" Right? So essentially, in Outriders, the captains, you can kill a captain and they spray out some loot, and so people figured out that you can farm legendaries, like the top rarity. Apparently, I thought I read that they weren't supposed to be in the game, but they are dropping, and people 10. They are dropping, and people are getting them. So people are literally going up to this captain, melting him as fast as possible. He drops loot, and then they just let themselves die, and they respawn a little bit away, and they do it again and again and again. And people will spend like 8 hours farming this single guy over and over to get these legendaries. But the crazy part is like, it actually feels a little bit worth it because the progress carries over. So when the full game comes out, you're going to be able to hit the full game with these cracked legendaries, and the legendaries are incredible. I got an auto rifle that does not use up ammo for critical hits, so it's basically like a no time to explain. I put up a clip of I like melt the boss in 15 seconds or whatever. So it's fantastic. Yeah, so fun. There's exploding sniper rifles and shotguns that make enemies like fly off the map and stuff. Super fun loot. And the crazy part is it's not like this loot, you're going to out-level it when the game comes out. There's a huge crafting system, and you can actually extract exotic perks from weapons. So that perk where the critical hits are refunded, I can take that out and put it into a different exotic in the end game that I find. So all this time farming this one captain in the beta, it's not even wasted. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and all the blue gear that you're getting while you're farming him that isn't a legendary, you're stacking it all up, you're dismantling it and taking the mods and the perks off of those so that when you get into the game later, you can craft with a plethora of different, you know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. And there's so many cracked out weapon perks there, like Shield Maiden. Holy crap. If you don't have a Shield Maiden mod banked, find a Shield Maiden gun, break it down, bank that mod. Proliferation, break the gun down, bank that mod. You want to do it. There's so many crazy mods. So it's not time wasted. It's great. And a lot of people actually, we had a guy earlier in chat was saying this. He was like, this game's trash. I couldn't even get co-op to work for the first 3 hours. The demo is indefinite. It's not going away today, tomorrow, Thursday. It's staying here. So
I had a guy in my Discord be like,
boo-hoo.
The demo's not free. And we're like, yeah, it is. He's like, oh, he's looking up the full game and not the demo. I'm like, bro,
if you expect a game or a demo to be flawless on launch, you have never, ever in your entire life played a beta or a demo. Right. That's not how these things work.
And the thing is, if you try the demo and you don't like the game, that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to like Outriders. Like, no, but it's like, why wouldn't you try it out? And then it's like, you just save some money because then you're not intrigued by it later.
That's the thing. Like, people just hate on the game before they've even played
there's
it.
A guy in chat right now that's messaged or auto muted because he's swearing, but he's like, this game's trash. This game's trash. It's like, what? Like, then don't play it, bro. Like, no one's forcing you to play this game.
Yeah, we're looter shooter content creators that like loot, and we thought the loot was good. So,
yeah, we thought a video game was fun, and people were like, "How dare you!"
And if the end game is trash,
totally allowed to be wrong,
right? If the end game is trash, we don't know. But if I'm having this much fun fighting a level 8 captain, if they can nail the end game, if I can get the cool loot long term, like maybe it will be cracked, and maybe it'll be something fun. And again, it's more like a Diablo-esque feel. There's a bunch of enemies, like the saturation of enemies on some of the levels is like, oh. They're just throwing them at you, and it's really satisfying. When you use your temporal blade and go, bop, and then it goes, do, and 5 guys blow up.
They all just blow up.
It's some of the most satisfying
skeletons.
Stuff.
They're like in skeleton form going into the air, like, oh, and then they blow up. It's so satisfying.
Like, think of getting a hand cannon kill and killing like 15 thralls with Firefly. It's like that. All the time. There's just so many enemies getting popped. So
really satisfying ability play. But again, like the weirdest thing is that there's this like group of Destiny players. There's like mega Destiny stands, and you are not allowed to play any other game. Like I posted an Outriders video talking about, hey, why people should play it. Main point, again, it's a free demo. Like, it's so weird. It's a completely free demo, no strings attached. You don't need to pre-order anything. If you call yourself a gamer, there's no reason to not get this, right? Like, at least try it. And again, if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it. But there's people in the comments being like, this is what's supposed to kill Destiny? Who is saying that this is? I've heard 0 people say
it's not even a live service hobby game.
People, I've not heard a single person be like, I stake my reputation on the fact that Outriders will kill Destiny. Bro, you are literally arguing with yourself. Like, what are you talking about? No one's saying that. Like, we're saying, hey, this game looks fun. For me personally, it's like when Destiny is in that downtime state, when it's in the middle of a season where nothing is happening, I would love to have something else to play. And Outriders looks like that. And I'm glad it's not a live service game because, you know, something like the Division 2, that prevents me from getting back into that game because it's I gotta grind for 100 hours to get anywhere. I don't want to do that. I want to hop on, I want to play a few games, earn some loot, and then maybe go back to Destiny. And this game looks perfect for that. People are being so weird about it. It's like you're not allowed to play a non-Destiny game. Yeah, it just makes me want to play it more, just to say screw you.
Yeah, Destiny is a live service hobby game. You know, most people are going to log in, they're going to do the dailies and weeklies that interest them, and they're going to log off. But a game like this it's just a standalone. They're going to ship the product. I would liken it to maybe like Borderlands 2. Okay, when Borderlands 2 came out, there's no, you're not going to get left behind. Okay, you're not competing with anybody to get any particular thing done. I picked up Borderlands 2 again with fresh playthroughs with my friends and my wife a couple months ago. It's timeless content. You jump in anytime, you progress at your own pace, you drop it for a couple weeks, you pick it back up. It's fine. All right, it's just a standalone game. When new DLCs come out, you can buy those if they interest you and play them. But yeah, it's not even comparable to Destiny in that regard because it's a game that achieves a different purpose. So there's nothing wrong.
And it doesn't mean you can't play it for a long time because there are like end game expeditions and stuff, but it's just I don't know, it's not again, it is even the gameplay is very, very different. Like you're using all these different abilities and it's gonna be a different story. I hope the story is good. Right now, the camera is the worst camera I've ever seen in a game. It is like shaking like this, like, hey, what's going on? It was the worst cutscenes I've ever seen, but they said it's going away. There was a lot of screen blur, so I get it. I think some people are jumping in. They saw the shake, the camera shake. They saw the motion blur, and they're like, no, I'm out. But you can apparently toggle that stuff later on, which is...
Everyone I've seen do reviews is always say the same thing. They're like, yeah, it has some problems, but for some reason, I just like it. Like, it's just fun.
And that's what Skillup said, basically.
Yeah, it's like one of those you're playing it and you're like, if you're like, really analytical, it's like, yeah, this loot has a couple problems. This is the same weapon I already have, like maybe more diversity, blah, blah, blah. But then you just kind of find yourself like, I'm just like having fun.
Really,
and yeah.
Really quickly, on the loot, someone made a post. I can't even remember who did it. I'm sorry, I can't quote it. But they were just like, I think at this point too, a lot of these games, they focus so much on the loot and not on like the gameplay. Yeah. And, like you need to make really good encounters and it isn't just about having really good loot. And so that is something I'd like to see is like, I really hope Outriders comes up with some cracked encounters and like really fun boss fights. I mean, we only saw one boss fight in this game, but if they can nail that loot, but also have really cool boss fights with maybe some mechanics and stuff, like they have that interrupt system. So some of the enemies you fight will actually cast spells and you have to like use an ability to shut them down. I think that was pretty cool. So I see the potential.
Go ahead.
I see the potential.
Yeah, and along those lines, one of the things that I liked about that interrupt system is that they build up a resistance to interruption over time.
Yeah.
So you actually have to pick and choose. When I'm fighting Gauze, I read the text to see what move he's about to use. And I'm like, oh, the mine? I'm not worried about that. Let him cast it. I'll dodge out of it. No problem. Electro Ball, I'm not worried about it. Lightning Storm, I'm interrupting that because I don't want to run away from him. I've got 2 close quarters guns. So you actually have to like pick and choose which ones you're going to interrupt. It adds a little bit of a different level of immersion into the encounter. And this is the thing, like that's literally an hour of gameplay, maybe, to get to him. It's just a demo. And that boss fight alone was interesting and engaging. That's like fighting your first big bully mong in Borderlands 2, you know what I'm saying? And if that first boss fight is that cool, hey, I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they got to bring to the table.
I want to say, someone in chat said, nobody said you're not allowed to play Outriders. The demo showed me a lot of things that's just not fun or not for me, blah, 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 whatever. Bro, go read the comments on some of these Outriders videos. There's people literally, like, they are saying, you're leaving Destiny 2 for this? Like, I never said that, bro. What are you talking about? There are 100%. There's people like, this game's trash. This game's trash. Don't even bother. Like, you're not allowed to play a game that's not Destiny. There are people basically saying that.
They're like boycotting it already. Yeah, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. I've seen people refuse to download a free demo to try it out. Like, that is so weird. It doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of some weird gamers, Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact players are in a tough spot. I've made a couple rants the past couple days. There's not a lot to do. We kind of talked about this before. With Genshin Impact, you jump into the game and it's like, ooh, piece of candy. There's a chest, there's a quest, there's things to do. And it does last for a while and you can put in some really good time. But then there comes to a point where you start running out of quests and you start running out of chests and you start realizing, damn, the only time I can do anything meaningful in this game is when you have resin. And that takes, if you empty your resin, it takes 20 hours to refill. And the stronger we get, right? If I want to bang it out as fast as I can blow all of my resin in 5 to 6 minutes. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's rough.
And, early on, some of these harder domains, they might take 2 or 3 minutes per domain. And I could get, like 8 of them. And but that's still not that great. 16 minutes of gameplay. But now, some of our characters are so strong. I can beat these domains in 4 seconds. I can suck everyone up with Venti, and I can pretty much one-bang them. And it's like, holy cow, we have these insane weapons, insane artifacts, and there's no.
Do you just run multiple accounts? You just immediately log out and then log into a different account with a different team?
I actually had multiple accounts going, but then that got so boring. Because it's like, I'm just doing the same thing again, and it's like, now I've got all these accounts that are progressing at different times, and that definitely spices it up. But it's just so monotonous. The gameplay is just so monotonous. So people are starting to get really bored.
I asked you about this in the show. I was like, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
I'm being a little fire and brimstone to chat, so I want to say, I'm a passionate guy. All right? You want passion? This is where you're gonna get it, baby. But I asked you about this. I said they just keep adding characters over and over again, and every time there's a new character, the Genshin hype, because obviously I pay attention to it, the Genshin hype goes through the roof. Everyone's super excited. But I'm like, they just keep adding new characters, and I don't see them adding any new content. So you are just using these characters on that same content over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. And then they add content. Like, they added this whole like tower defense game, and it was pretty good. But then it goes away after 2 weeks. And it's like, why? Even if it's not like a main thing, if you could just let me do it like once a day for like a little reward, I would play it. And there was like this boss rush thing where they had so like the hypostasis, those cube bosses. Did you guys fight those?
Yeah.
Right. So they had those, but then you could turn up the difficulty that they'd one hit you. Like, they had like an arena, and then they had it where like the electric one would put all these crystals on the ground, and if it used its attacks, they would just like start shooting electricity, and it's like, oh, right, and then it goes away, and it's like, what the hell? And dude, they do add content, but it's kind of like Destiny content where some of it's seasonal and it does go away, but it's so quick that it goes away. And even if they make this god tier amazing activity, it's not going to last, and you're back to the same old boring thing.
Like, this part of the reason that we kind of talked about this earlier, but to relate back, is part of the reason why we're like excited for Outriders not being a live service game, because live service games does crap like this. I think these people they're way too focused on like statistics and numbers and engagement, and they've learned that if you have something for a limited time, it does well.
It's
like
FOMO.
Fortnite,
it's FOMO,
limited time,
right?
It's here, it's gone. FOMO, people, and the numbers are up. But there's some downsides to doing that, right? And like you said, like,
your drop off is swift. Then
there's just some significant downsides to like the loot. It goes away, and you're like, I really like that activity. Now I'm bored. Right. So you have massive engagement for this little point in time, but I don't think the statistics show everything, right? And we've talked about this before with Activision doing all this insane stuff with their matchmaking, right? Where like, it's not just skill-based matchmaking. They'll matchmake you into games with people who have bought a lot of cosmetics so that you're more motivated to buy.
Right.
And it's like, yes, I'm sure their statistics can influence that, or that they show, hey, these people are buying more stuff, but then those people will get worn down eventually. And it's just like, I don't think people are considering the repercussions of some of these things. And that limited time thing is a huge thing. Yeah. Destiny had to back off of that. In fact, this is the first year we're not getting that.
Right. And, they do keep adding new characters. And that's kind of the joke, too, is like, I'm so bored. I'm sick of this game. Like, I can't do it. And then Hu Tao comes out, and it's like, I'm back, baby. I was wishing for her just yesterday. I'm hyping her up. I'm like, she's so sick. She's so cute. They add a little quest. Because honestly, some of the story quests and some of that stuff is really interesting. And
absolutely.
I think one of the big issues is, the game came out, people getting a little bit bored, and then we had like the 1.2 update, and they added a bunch of story quests. Like, they added a big story. Very good story, in my opinion. There was like some crazy cinematics. They added a new boss. It's like, okay. And then, 1.3 came out with Dragon Spine. And it's like a new little sub-region on this mountain. And there was quests and chests and secrets. Like, there was this secret where you had to interact with all these little grave sites. And then it opened up this big door. And if you lit all the torches inside, you got like a free 4-star sword. Everyone is freaking out about this stuff. And they do add content that's amazing. But this latest update was kind of just filler. And the next update is rumored to just kind of be filler. And I think people, they do love this game. But also, they're hyper invested. Because some people have spent $500 getting all these characters, right?
Yeah.
They spent all this money getting Hu Tao, and they want a place to use her, and they want a place to use their D-Luke, and they want, some, end game or just something fun. And I think that if you were someone that starts Genshin Impact in 2 years, you're gonna have one of the best games you've ever played. All the regions, all the quests, you'll be able to dive in like an MMO. There'll be so much.
That's like playing Raid. That's like playing Raid Shadow Legends.
When you haven't played it, exactly.
If you're picking it up for the first time.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. But still, like, even when Raid launched, half the features that are available didn't exist. And the same thing with Genshin.
Right.
We're at 2 regions out of 7. And it's just
feels like so many games these days, you're part of the development of the game.
Yes.
Like everything's
That's
early
right.
access. You sign, it's fun. There's a spark of fun there. You get committed, but then you're like part of it as they're like slowly drip feeding this content. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but you do kind of look back on like Halo 3 came out and it was a banger. It had a ton of content. That was it. It was the finished full product.
That's
the
right.
second you got into it, you didn't have to like wait months and years for it to become a full game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I mean, I'd love to see what it'll be like in a year and a half, 2 years. And I can always return when a new region comes because, as you were saying, the hype just goes, poof, it just shoots up.
Mm-hmm.
This game has nothing to do. I've never seen people more hyped. Like, I post a video on a new character, or like they post a little bit of news, and they're ravenous. Everyone is so excited on it.
It's a cool world that they made. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And, I dropped the game for a while. But I came back for one of the updates for one reason alone. And you mentioned this earlier. You talked about the story content that they added. But I had a character in one of my teams. It was like my B team. I forget her name off the top of my head. You'll probably know it. But she's like long blonde hair. She's from that western region. She's like the daughter of a merchant family, wealthy merchant family. But she has like these barricades she puts up that she can do damage through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was really, she's not even an A tier character, but I really liked her. She was just fun to play with my build. And then I dropped the game for a while, but then I saw a clip on Twitter where someone was like, oh, this new story content's cool. And I saw her character talking. I was like, wait, I don't know anything about her. That's one of my favorite. Right. So I actually downloaded the update, went back and I played this in that content. And sure enough, I was like, oh, it's cool to get to know those characters that were already in my team that I really didn't know much about.
Yeah,
so,
and like
I love seeing content like that.
Even the new character, her story quest that just came out, it's not like amazing, but some of them are really likable. Like she's the director of a funeral parlor, and she pretty much just keeps saying like, "Hey," and like if you die, like just let me know. like hey, like if you're thinking like you're gonna die, just and and she, right, and you kind of go around and you're talking to all these people, and she's like, "Hey, like are you healthy? Would you say you're healthy?" And it's like, Hu Tao, relax. And I feel like they do have very enjoyable characters, and some of the story, super cool. And even some of the fights, like some of the boss fights are really good. And I think it's just like people are ravenous for more. They want more. Mm-hmm. They want to enjoy it. They want to be able to grind. They want to play more.
You've left Destiny and entered into the community that's exactly the same as Destiny.
I know.
Ravenous
Seriously.
for content. That nothing's ever enough. You're not allowed to play other games now. It's
Chat's apparently correcting me, by the way. I guess she's better than I gave her credit for.
Well, early on, everyone's like, oh, Ning Wong, whatever. And then there's a couple people saying like, no, like, trust me, she's busted. And then as time has gone on and like on the Chinese server, you can absolutely one bang every boss in the game with her. But you got to invest in her. Like you need to invest in her. And she needs a couple constellations and stuff. So it's...
Yeah, when the game first dropped, like everyone, because I was looking at character tier lists, and no one had her above A.
Right. That's the same thing with a couple. So Bennett, everyone's like, Bennett is trash, best support in the game, or second best support. Xing Qiu, everyone's like, he's boring. Maybe because they're not like waifus. He's boring. He is statistically so busted good compared to everyone else. His ultimate ability is like one of the highest overall sustained damage in the game, and everyone was sleeping on him. And so there's over time, there's shitty content creators like me that don't hype up the right characters.
But it's also like, how are people supposed to know? Like the way the game works, you have to either spend so much time or so much money investing in those wishes to get those constellations. Like those constellations for characters, it's like massive. It's like it does like 20% more crit or more damage to burning targets or all this crazy stuff. It's like that
gives you another use of the ability. Like there's so many. And
it's
like,
my gosh, that's insane. Like so it's like unless someone actually fully commits and spends thousands of dollars or hours to like level up this character, and then they can finally unlock their full potential. So it's like no wonder it's hard to tell like off the bat.
And actually, even just to touch on that, that's the other thing too, is we're talking, they keep releasing all these characters, but you can't get enough resources to level them all because you don't have the resin. And so it's this weird thing. It's like, well, I want that character, but like I can't even use them. And if I do get him to use it, what am I going to use them on? It's this really weird, merry-go-round of like, new characters are coming out. I don't have the resources for them, and maybe I save
we'll know in a couple months how good they are, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because not everyone is able to use them and abuse them, and is what it is. I think that Genshin has some major potential. Again, it's free. If you've never played Genshin, go get lost in the world. It's like Breath of the Wild. Like, and
your first like 20 hours are going to be really enjoyable because you're not worried about all that stuff.
If you need a game to play and you got a couple $1,000s to spend, bro, it is. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to drop 10 G's to get everybody, but I don't know. And actually, here's the one thing. Here's one of the other controversies: is like this weapon banner came out, and a couple big YouTubers like Tectone, he spent $2,000 to get the one weapon on one banner, and everyone's like, this is like, he did the first 500 and he's like, whoa, wait, I didn't get even one of them. And then he did another and he's like, whoa, and he did another and he's like, huh. And so it became this giant meme. Everyone's freaking out about it, and people are starting to feel like MiHoYo's greedy, and it's like, duh, are you kidding? Dude, I'm not kidding. They released a daily login, and I was kind of ranting about this one. Again, not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends for this, but Raid Shadow Legends, with the daily logins, they give you some pretty good stuff. And if you get in to like 180 days, you get like legendary god tier characters and like lots of stuff, right? If I look at how many days I've played Genshin, they're not giving you that much, but they just released a 30-day login bonus. We're talking the worst rewards I've ever seen, ever. We're talking like finding some eggs that you can craft, like that you could find around the map, like 3 of them. And it's like, why are you giving us the, like, in what world do we need those 3 eggs?
You saved me 3 minutes, thanks.
I've got 700 of them in my inventory. It's like, what is that going to do? It doesn't do anything. I can buy 100 of them at a time if I want. And the other thing too is, once you get to AR 55, it's essentially the soft cap for your adventure rank. And to get to the next level is like 230,000 experience. The math on it is like, it's going to take you 6 months to get 1 level. And you get 1 wish. It's like, if I was playing Raid and I was going to take half a year to do something, I get a legendary god tier character. They're giving me 1 wish. That's going to be a blue weapon. Like, you're making $250 million a year, MiHoYo. Get some content out there and stop being so cheap. So it's kind of come to a head. Maybe it's me raging over everyone else, but I'm noticing it a lot in the chats as people are starting to get fed up and they're starting to get bored, and that sentiment is shifting rather quickly.
Yeah, I mean, and sadly, that's like the reason I was playing that game quite a bit, and then took my foot off the gas, is because like I could see the writing on the wall with that stuff. Based on what you were saying, based on like what I was seeing, it's like, I'm either gonna have to go full into this game to get anywhere, or like I can't. Like, you again, if you're playing for fun, there's nothing wrong with that. You can play it very casually, but you will, if you're just playing for fun, you will not get anywhere substantial. You will not like really progress to those end tiers fast at all. Like, it's gonna take you a hot minute or a hot $1,000.
Right. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I think we hit all the topics. We could get into the fun part of the podcast.
Yeah, we should ask. Hey, we should ask Peter if we can like give away a tub on the show of your new flavor. That'd be dope.
Probably.
Oh yeah, that would be a good time. Let's set that up for next episode, maybe.
Yeah, we should do that.
Well, first things first. What are those? What are those hitting chat? Oh, it's a bunch of links. If you want to go and pick up that new Kackis Kiwi Lime, baby.
Use code RGH, not Kackis.
Wait, I don't.
Because I want to make money off of his hard work. Okay.
Oh, I see. Because I'm actually professional. I kind of waited a bit because there's like a delay.
Oh,
so like hopefully by the time I'm kind of saying that, then the links are popping up.
Yeah, no, you were way too early.
Oh,
you're way too early. And make sure you use code RGH for 10% off, baby.
You're
also that hoodie.
Dude,
that hoodie is really cool.
The hoodie is fire, dude.
I'm framing it.
They're numbered 1 to 200, and then that's it. So maybe you get number 69, maybe you get whatever you get.
Oh,
then that's it.
A good point.
I told Peter to give me 69.
Yeah,
I told him. I was like, if that doesn't get shipped to me, you're done.
Yeah,
I'm leaving.
So what we do here is this is a part of the podcast where we're done the topics, but we're not done the podcast. We're going to open the floor to the chat to you guys. You guys can go ahead, ask some questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. And yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, it's just free chat time.
Free chat time. Anyone, we don't care. We just want the chat to be flowing and growing. And I'll be showing, if you know what I'm saying. What?
No, I don't. Expand, please. Did we get I think we got some new things.
Sounds like a story on a G Fuel, man. You might as well go eat the chalk outside on your driveway then the kids are using.
There's no G Fuel men. Okay, I don't.
Oh my god.
Jesus. Toxic.
Love it though.
So hey, fun fact, while we wait for some questions to roll in.
What's in the glass TV?
Yeah, what's in the glass TV?
What are you drinking today?
Tonight I'm sipping on Traverse City whiskey. This is their straight bourbon, but it's the barrel proof one. Yum.
Thank God. Thank God.
I was like, dude, it better be the barrel proof one. They're like, what is this guy even doing?
So if you don't know what barrel proof means,
discount code RGH, bro. Come on.
That's right. Barrel proof means when they take the whiskey out of the barrels, normally what they do is they dilute it a little bit because it's pretty strong when it comes straight out that barrel. It's got it's soaked up a lot of flavors from that oak cask, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what happened was whiskey drinkers were like, don't dilute that crap. Just put a bottle on the shelf where you don't dilute it, where it's just straight out that cask. I want that barrel proof because it's your barrel proof, right? So it's a higher alcohol, it's a higher ABV basically.
I got you.
Because they don't do it. So it's stiff, but you get to have a lot of the tasting notes from the barrel. So that's what barrel proof.
So for like I think the second time, the actual official Outriders YouTube channel is here in the chat.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate y'all.
And they mentioned something about like, should we release the demo update?
What do you mean the demo update?
Is there actually going to be a demo update?
Are you going to expand the demo?
Wait, what?
I think they might have been talking about the technical update to like do the motion blur stuff.
Yes, do it.
And all that jazz. I don't know. We're getting baited by the official Outriders account. What's going on, bro? Like, am I going to have to hop on tonight? Damn right. I do actually need to. I like want to keep farming.
Yeah. I've got 5 hours of farming in already today.
My man. Were you streaming and everything?
Some of it, yeah.
And how's the chat reception been? I've honestly had like pretty, like even when I switched from Genshin, they're like, "Whoa, what is this? This is kind of sick."
Generally positive.
Yeah.
Someone in chat asked, "What are our favorite classes so far?" For me, I'll give you my one to four. Number 1 is Devastator. 2 and 3 are tied for Techno and Trickster, and then Pyromancer's a 4 for me. I didn't dislike the Pyro. I just felt like maybe I need more end game build stuff in order to really leverage him.
I feel like Pyro is going to scale up. You know, like it felt like early on, I didn't have enough abilities to heal even because they have to be on fire. So I'm like,
that's right.
Shit, if I don't have my ability, there's nothing I can do.
I think, that is an issue. But I'm not the biggest fan of, like Technomancer was the one that I like those more visceral abilities and like putting down the turrets. It was good, but I don't know. That's the one. And especially the first ability for Technomancer, the little grenade, does like nothing.
Maybe some balance issues too with some of the abilities.
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna change it.
Yeah.
But like, dude, the Trickster is like so fun. Like, I started with the Trickster.
It is really fun.
And so like everything else, like I don't want to be playing. I just want to keep on playing Trickster.
Right. Everyone was saying Devastator was arguably the best, but I haven't got a chance to play it. I've been focusing on my Pyromancer.
I think it's because they have.
It's real fun.
Devastator has so many interrupting abilities too, and like the really easy ones to activate. So like against those like boss type things, just interrupt like every attack and
just
you're
dive
like
in,
destroy them. Yeah.
And for a tank subclass, you're really mobile. Like the jump away and then pound back in.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just a really dynamic tank class that really does feel like a tank. I love it.
Revolt said, Tash, do you think you'll come back to Destiny? I kind of talked about it earlier. If they make all those changes, I'm definitely interested. I'm definitely excited about a lot of the changes, and I want to do the Vault of Glass raid and everything. But it's just a long way out. We'll have to see.
For sure. Techno is OP. You freeze, explode. Well, Techno is very... So I remember playing like an early access thing, and I had a Techno ability when they kind of first revealed it. That was later down the skill tree. It's not unlockable in the demo, and that was unbelievable. Like that just made it like it froze anyone in your vicinity, which is like so good. And you just walk up and brain them with weapons and stuff. So like all these characters, like you're getting like just 4 abilities in the demo, and then you can like have like those 3 ability slots. So absolutely going to be like fantastic. Someone said, genuine question about your flavor. Oh, everyone's interested in the flavor, guys. I'm not just picking this. As a Sour Patch Kids lover, are there any flavors that scratch the sour itch? Mine isn't particularly sour for sure.
Frostbolt. Hey?
I like Frostberry. I like Frostberry.
That's a little bit more on the sour, but even then is that
strawberry.
Sour?
They're coming out with a strawberry lemonade.
Maybe that would be.
Yeah, they posted a picture today of the strawberry lemonade. But,
mine is legit. Like I'm not just saying it, is like so easy to drink, and I think with all of these, you have a little bit of a like. Sometimes you can have a little bit of an aftertaste, especially with the stronger flavors. This one, nothing. It's just so smooth.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. I'm gonna be doing some what's it called? Like I'm gonna be copying TV and doing some little drink mixes with this thing. I think that should be coming out. It should be funny.
I was laughing at this Curbstar guy.
I know, what a clown, dude. I'm gonna ban you, and you're gonna Curbstar. You're now hidden, and no one will ever. You're just gonna.
Here's the thing: is
you're gonna drift into just being a nobody.
Here's the thing, though.
One.
He already was.
You already are, dude. He just like comes in here.
No,
you 3.
Listen,
you 3 are successful at what you do, and I started a Twitch channel, and I only got 2 viewers. Like, all right, dude, get out of here.
He's having a bad day.
I'll give you a different take. I'll give you a different take. Curbstar, here you go. Hey, you can accomplish some really impressive, cool stuff. All right, you can. You just got to get up off that lazy butt. Make it happen. Stop being an internet hater. That's the lowest form of humanity. All right, you can do better than that. I want to see you do better than that. Rise above it. Kick some butt. Take life by the horns. Don't be mad about all the crap that happened to you and take it out on other people. That's mega lame. That's too easy, man. That's easy street.
And when you're there, I want you to take a video.
Up, bro.
I want you to take a selfie and go, here I am in my garage. It's Curbstar. And I'm showing you guys I made it. And I want you to tweet it at me. Okay?
Please. Tag me.
Yeah. No, you're an idiot and a loser. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Dude, it's like
we're wasting too much breath on this guy. Let's chat with everyone else.
Exactly. Sometimes, you know what though? It's like it's nice. You got to call out the trolls every once in a while, because it's part of the reason they do it is because they slip it in, and then they think you won't. Like they're not gonna notice me. It's like no. Sometimes you got to call them out for being a clown.
Right. Are there any G Fuels? We don't know about G Fuel. All we know is that is not a product we promote. But Advanced GG is no sugar. So we have exactly what you need, but we don't sell G Fuel.
Someone said, I actually a good question from John Job saying like, what do you think about the single player matchmaking coming to Trials? Well, Bungie did not confirm that it was single player matchmaking. What they said is like, we need a way that solo players can get involved in some way. Now, is that going to be a guided games for Trials type of thing? Is that truly going to be a freelance queue? Who the heck knows? Genuinely, I don't know. But I think that's really good news, because like we said earlier, number one issue for Trials, or one of the things that's causing some of the biggest problems, is the fact that there's just nobody playing the damn playlist, right? The player population is absolutely pathetic, and it just exasperates all these issues. So if they do find a way to give solo players a chance to get some legit rewards in there, that will make the playlist skyrocket. That will really help.
What if they made, someone said this in chat, what if they made a 1v1 trials playlist where you had to win 7 1v1s, round-based 1v1s in a row?
That would actually, I mean, that could be dope, dude.
That could be so freaking cool. That'd be the biggest flex, dude.
Here's the thing, though, is like, and if it had the exact same rewards, if you are a great solo player 1v1ing, do it. Or like a Rumble Trials of some sort. Like if you get top 3, you get a win or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many ways you could do it. There's so many ways you could do it. How did you like my RGH nails? Did you guys see that? Did you see the painted RGH nails? I thought they were beautiful.
Oh, I did. Dope.
Yeah, I thought they were beautiful.
Bring back guided games for trials.
Yeah, they're pretty killer.
Guided games was, I don't think it was it was a cool concept. I don't think it worked out as well as I think Bungie hoped, for sure. 6-man trials. I mean, that is trials. I mean, well, not on your team, but
Scorched. Oh man.
No, get that Scorched Trials.
Oh my god. Well, Scorched Trials would be more balanced than actual trials, though. Right now, like,
if they did one. Oh, sorry,
I was gonna say, I'd rather verse someone with a Scorched cannon than like a controller user with a sniper rifle on PC. Like, they just don't miss, bro.
Oh, I got a question here. Ryan, do you import your whiskeys or is it typically local?
I've got a guy.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Got a guy.
Yeah, you have a guy.
Okay, well, I have 2 guys.
Oh,
I have 2 guys, and they have different focuses, so they have different selections. So it depends on my mood. But either one of them, if I bring them a recommendation, if I say, hey man, if you order a case of this, I guarantee I'll buy at least 2 of them. You know what I mean? They'll shelf it. They'll order it. So I can get my hands on just about
no guys, anything. And this guy's got 2 guys.
Okay, I kind of had a guy for one night. I had one guy for one night, and it's actually an answer to this question: the best alcohol you've ever tried. So I went to Cuba. Ryan, you've probably never been because you wouldn't have been allowed for a long time until recently they opened up, the borders to Americans. But a lot of Canadians
I've flown over Cuba a couple times.
Right.
That's it.
So a lot of Canadians go to Cuba. It's pretty cheap overall. And I went into Havana, and oh my god, that was scary. Havana is not you always hear like Havana Nights.
Clueless Tash,
bro.
Like, do you guys know where I go? I've got this money. I want to spend it somewhere.
No, it's creepy, and the thing is because it's a communist country. I had a Nike hat on, and people like, I will pay you for that hat because it's rare. And honestly, it's for like drug dealers and like kingpins because they're like, you got those Nike shoes, I can't get those. Like they offered me like $100 for my hat, and I was like, sure.
So some Cuban drug dealer is wearing all Mtashed.
Yes, exactly, bro.
Got hooked up.
Exactly, but I sold my Nike hat for $100 USD. So I'm walking around with cash. I get mugged. No, I didn't get mugged. but we heard about this honey rum. I don't know what the brand was. But there's a factory there, and they make this honey rum, this sweet rum. And we went to the back of the factory, and we kind of had like a tourist guy that's like, yeah, you just go, bring $20 US, you go to the back, and there's just a guy there, and he'll hand you a bottle of this honey rum, and it doesn't have any of the like the branding on it, and you can get like a 2-6 for $20. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So when I got a couple, I swear it was very sweet. Like, it was very, very sweet rum, but it was 40%. You could drink it just like it was almost like a mixed shot. It was so sweet. But it was 40% and it hit, and we just drank it straight from the bottle, and it was the best alcohol I've ever had. You would not be able to mix it with anything, I don't think. Like, really, I don't know what.
It sounds mixed.
It's so
Challenge
sweet.
Accepted.
It was so sweet. I don't know what you would do to that to I mean,
that sounds like a great thing for someone like you and me, and a TV would hate because
it's too sweet.
It's not the proper rum. Dude, get out of here.
No, that's not true, man. I love a wide variety of stuff.
Yeah,
just because it's sweet doesn't mean it's off my list.
That's fair. It's just it's normally on my list first. Like,
I've had a few people say, they asked like, what do you guys think of 12v12 trials? I kind of talked about it earlier, but just to read it, I'm not going to cover 12v12 trials because I tried not cover like glitches, exploits, out of map stuff, and it is an exploit. It's a fun exploit, and I'm not like mad at anyone for doing it or anything. By all means, if you want to do 12v12 raids or 12-man raids, oh my goodness, if you want to do 12-man raids, that's totally up to you. But again, it is an exploit, and we were talking earlier, like people got super mad about win trading ruining the sanctity of trials loot and meaning that loot lost its prestige. 12-man raids have an issue there as well because you could carry 6 other people and just have them literally stand there and just like carry them through their first raid. So it's like, it's one of those things where I hope Bungie looks into this because of the 12-man raids that I've seen, it just looks like a bunch of fun. And although raids are definitely designed around 6 players and shouldn't be expanded in the future, I think it's one of those things where Bungie needs to look at adding a 12-man activity, a 10-man activity. Why stop at 6? Mm-hmm. Like, clearly it works. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand.
Can support it, yeah.
Like, do you know how much of a absolute banger the Battlegrounds activity would be if it was 10 people Battlegrounds? Like, why the heck not? Right? It's like, I don't understand why Bungie doesn't look into stuff like that. I mean, dude, I get anteatered every day. Like, it's not like, what am I going to get anteatered more? Probably, but like, who cares? Just go for the fun.
So can I tell one quick little Genshin Impact story? Because someone brought it up. So there's a guy named Enviosity, and he like never wishes. He's been free to play from the start, and he only uses the basic characters that you get for free. And I don't know when they added this, but there's a website where if you know their player ID, you can essentially gift them like Genesis crystals or the currency, Primo Gems. But it like you essentially buy it for them off their account. I don't know how to explain other than that, but typically, if you go to the shop, if you've never bought crystals, you have like a bonus. And so it's one of the ways that he and other players like myself show this account is free to play. We've never spent money because we have those bonuses. Well, someone went in and gifted him a bunch of them and bought all of them. And so it looks like he spent money. And so everyone's like freaking out. And it kind of tarnished his account because it was like this coveted like holy grail of free to play. And now he can't prove like it's free to play. He can never show that because it shows that, and it's really scummy. And he talked to customer support, and there's nothing they can do about it. They're like, yeah, crazy. Like they've been bought. It's done. And so it's rough. And like everyone who knows him, and you know he doesn't have a bunch of 5-star characters running around. But it's just a shame because like he's been working on this since day one, and now you know he can't officially prove to all the new people that might find him or these other kind of trolls that he's free to play, and it sucks. I feel really bad for him.
Damn, so someone can just like tank any YouTuber's free to play account if they want.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's even with me. I'm worried is my account is so lucky. I called it free to play God because I got so many 5 stars, but the luck just continues. Like I have the most insane free to play account, and everyone kind of jokes like, "There's no way it's free to play." Well, the second someone does that and spends the money, no one will trust it anymore. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, he did spend money. Because look at all these 5 stars. Like, he had to have spent money. And so it's just this really annoying thing. And I hope that people don't do it. I'm going to, hopefully have footage proving, like, hey, someone bought this on my account. And the one thing you can do is you don't have to convert the Genesis crystals to Primo Gems. So you could just leave them on there and be like, look, the exact amount is right there and I've never spent them. So there's ways around it, but it's just kind of that quick glance thing and it's just kind of that feeling of they're there now. Like he can't waste them necessarily, so.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Damn, that's stupid.
I know. It's really, really dumb.
That's a bummer.
But Genshin Impact probably doesn't want any free-to-play accounts to exist. The Mihoyo, they're like, hell no. No one's free to play in this game, baby.
Yep, for sure. You could just buy stuff for the account. If you have the player ID, you could do it for people's accounts, which is
crazy.
Yeah. I hide mine. I hide my ID, but there's been so many videos that probably someone has it somewhere, so
sure.
We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I don't see
about it.
A ton of more questions.
Yeah, everyone's tapped out. Everyone's tapped out. They're tired. They want us to
Do you
get
have
off.
an RGH subreddit or Discord? Nope. Maybe one day, dude. We're pretty stretched thin just with what we do, so we would need like someone else to spearhead that.
Yeah, to help manage. Yeah.
So I have a quick question in chat before we end this. We had amazing viewership today. Really, really good viewership today. We got to 1,100 viewers today, and that's awesome. I have a question for you in chat. What made you click on the stream today? Are you a returning viewer? Did you see, wait, Bungie gives in? You know, what was the thing that you saw this and you're like, hold on a second, I'm watching this podcast today. I'd love to know. Just a quick little thing.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Get a little bit of community feedback. You know, it could be, hey, Mtashed is looking really cute today. And that is, I mean, obviously.
That is a big factor, yeah. Someone said, please don't cut off the outros today, Tash.
We'll see. I had to cut you off as a troll.
Ulrich, I haven't done any of the 12-man stuff, no. I'm too busy doing other stuff.
The Outriders stuff, returning
Outriders,
been here since day one.
What do you mean Outriders? Like you saw the topic? Or did they...
the Shocks players, they're like, wait, what?
Did they push you?
I think a lot of people just say they're like returning viewers. That's what I'm seeing.
No, we appreciate you guys.
Every episode.
We really appreciate
you. Watch every episode.
We're just like, how did you see this? Like, where are you coming from?
Returning viewer.
Wow.
Thanks,
you guys are awesome.
Thanks, Outriders.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the feedback. We really appreciate it. We've been doing this podcast now for 27 episodes. We do it every single Wednesday. We've been having a lot of fun with it. I feel like we're doing some pretty good growth here. Honestly, we're waiting and excited for more gaming content to happen. I feel like there's no new games launching lately. And so once we start getting more news Outriders. Once we start getting more news and exciting stuff, I think it's going to get really exciting around here.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're almost at 20,000 subs. Yeah. Appreciate that, y'all.
We are so close to 20,000 subs. So hold on. Someone, one of us three, wasn't me, wasn't Mtashed, someone else, don't want to name names, promised that new emotes would be ready for this episode.
Listen.
So what's going on with the new emotes?
I missed a DM. So she had to reach out to me 2 days after via email. So I was late on getting back to myself.
What do you do? What do you
do?
Dude,
listen.
How much you farming Outriders?
The difference
legendaries.
Between me,
you missed 2 days
the
of
difference
DMs.
Between you is that people like me, so I get a lot of DMs. So it's easy for me to miss one. Okay,
my DMs aren't even open.
Neither are mine.
Oh, okay.
There's not that many people that like you.
Who's DMing you? Your wife being like, please don't get drunk tonight.
I'll show you my DMs. You'd be jealous.
No, I don't. You know what? Actually, I don't. I probably would. People are like, man, I like your content. I'm like, I never get those DMs. This is weird.
Yeah.
So next week, is that looking like we're going to get the new emotes?
Probably, I would imagine so, yeah. I would imagine so, but I don't want to promise.
Apparently, yeah, we can't promise. We can't do anything right, but they're coming. They're being worked on.
Some of them are done already.
One day, episode 45, baby. When that hits, we'll finally get those new emotes.
Can I take a quick second for a very PR friendly address of the SNTR thing?
No,
I'm saying one thing. There's not much to say there. There's so many angles that you come at this. Like, we're not going to address it every episode because people keep bringing it up. There's a video been made. He's had his defense. Other people said it. We're going to trust our friends and everything we've learned for the last multiple years. And it's a very sticky situation. And it's just, we can't talk about it all the time.
Like, also, listen, we wish him, in some respects, we wish him well. We wish him growth, improvement.
We don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, we don't
we're not going after him or anything like that. You know, live and let live. And in some regards,
again, we want in any situation, we just want everyone to get rehabilitated. The women that were involved, him, get help, and hopefully can like move on and stuff. Because if I ever did something, I would hope that I can rehabilitate and move on. People that are in jail, they don't have to stay in jail for their entire life. And you want them to rehabilitate. Well, okay.
No,
but you know, like,
but it's also like, if you're like, you gotta really stop, like, you know, if you're going out and attacking someone on like in someone else's regard, like, oh, I'm so into this YouTuber, like this stan culture is getting ridiculous in the sense of like anyone who attacks like some creator you viciously go after them. Even someone who's like, they don't say anything, you misconstrue something, like you go after them. Stop. Like, are you dick riding so hard that it's like, I'm this guy, like you're treating this like someone like they're a deity. It's like, dude, they're just a content creator. All right. Like, I'm sure they don't want you going. In fact, I know for a fact they don't want you going after and stirring stuff up.
Right.
And making threats. You know,
and
a lot of people have received
and being
threats.
weird. Like, stop.
And that is part of it. Is like, I don't want to.
We're not encouraging our communities to do it the opposite way. Our communities, by all means, like, stop. Don't go out and harass people.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
I have an email from 2 days ago or 3 days ago that just says, "We're coming for you next," and it's like, I don't even want to know what that means. Like, anyways, I don't want to get into it much more. There's not much more to say. There's so many sides of this, and you know, like, honestly, at this point, if they want to deal with it, it's probably gonna be in a courtroom because like I don't know. There's he said, she said, going back and forth that like we can't do anything about it. So I don't want to talk about the drama anymore. We're not going to bring it up anymore. Like, the next person that says it, we just aren't going to respond. There it is. It's done.
Like, trying to like, do you have a statement on the recent, like, my statement is shut the fuck up.
Whoa!
Like, I'm sorry. It's like, it's getting so ridiculous. Like again, I know that this person does not want you going out and harassing on their regard. We don't want you, like, guys going out and harassing anyone.
Right.
Live and let live. We're trying to cover fun gaming topics, guys. We're covering like what's going on in gaming and stuff. Mm-hmm. Let's take a chill pill.
All right. We love you. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good day. We will see you soon. We are the RGH podcast every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Be there. Make sure to follow. Make sure to hit that bell. I'm Mtashed.
KackisHD.
I'm True Vanguard.
And I'm going to cut someone off most likely because I don't know when to click
this.
Keep extending. Honestly, a little longer. It might even be me.